So can we talk about the Star Spangled Banner? In 1814, 2 years into the War of 1812, a lawyer by the name of Francis Scott Key boarded a British ship in order to persuade the British to let go of a friend that they had held captive. Although Key was successful in getting his friend released, they had gained the knowledge that the British were about to attack the city of Baltimore. Therefore, the British allowed them to go back to their own vessel, but they had to remain under British guard. It is from that vessel that on September 13th, 1814, Key had to watch as the British warships bombarded Fort McHenry in the Baltimore harbor in what would become known as the Battle of Baltimore. This British bombardment would last a total of 25 hours and would come just weeks after the British had set fire to the Capitol, the Treasury, and the President's House, not yet known as the White House. Due to the large scale of the attack and how long it lasted, Key was sure that the British would come out on top. But on September 14th, at the dawn's early light, Key was able to observe that it was the American flag, not the British Union Jack, that was flying over the fort announcing the American victory. While Key was still on board his vessel under British guard, he wrote down his thoughts on paper and put the words to a popular English tune. The initial working title of this tune was The Defense of Fort McHenry. But a few weeks later, after being printed in the Baltimore Patriot, the tune's name would change to, as we all know now, the Star Spangled Banner. Although written in 1814, it would not become our national anthem for another 102 years, when in 1916, President Woodrow Wilson signed an executive order designating it as such. And then in 1931, Congress passed an act to solidify it into law, which was signed by President Herbert Hoover. Most today don't know that the Star Spangled Banner is actually 4 verses long. That is because in more modern times, we only sing the first verse. This could be because Key was a racist, and he wrote a verse that blames the British for using black Americans as mercenaries during the War of 1812. The verse reads as such: "No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave." Key hated abolitionists and felt that the problem was not slavery itself, but the entire colored race, and felt that all black Americans should be sent to Africa to purify white America.